Hello. My name is Russell Young. This project was on the analysis of the migration in and out of South Carolina. Um, and this was from 2011 to 2018, over a 7-year span. The project was created to address what services the policymakers should be putting into place, and uh, how they should prepare themselves for the future based on migration patterns. To begin the project, we extracted raw data from the website of the Statistics of Income Tax Stats, US population migration data. And we used this data um, as migration information for analysis on the state to state level. After we extracted that data from the website, we transformed it and loaded it into Excel and Tableau. And so here it is in Tableau. Um, so this is the raw data right here. And Tableau is unique because we can visualize the raw data. We have three variables here: net number of returns, net exemptions, and the net adjusted gross income. And these three variables are just used to analyze the migration and categorize what's really going on here. So we'll first look at a visual of the net number of returns. Number of returns is basically just, net number of returns is our inflow minus our outflow. So how many people are coming in the state versus how many people are going out of the state. And we can see here for South Carolina, majority of the inflow coming into South Carolina is from the East Coast and California. So you can also see that the majority of it's actually just from North Carolina and Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York. But there is some outflow as well, even though but it's nowhere near as big as the inflow is. So from all of this, we can gather that a majority of the inflow and migration we're seeing is from North Carolina, New York, and the East Coast. Here's our next visual. It's the net exemptions. So exemptions is basically just another way of saying individuals who migrated who didn't file their income. This is children, family members who don't file income, and we can see that it's quite similar. A lot of it's coming from North Carolina, New York, the East Coast, and there are quite a few families going out to Texas, leaving South Carolina. Nothing crazy to see here. And then we have net AGI. This is your net adjusted gross income, and this is just your depiction more accurately depicts the income and where it's coming from and where it's going. And we can see this less certain income is a lot of it's going out to Florida. So a lot of people who have these less certain types of income are out in Florida, Oregon, Idaho, Washington, whereas a lot of the AGI that's coming into South Carolina is up in the Northeast and in North Carolina especially. So that's our first Tableau look at. Let me share my next Tableau, which is right here, and this is a different visual we're looking at now. Instead of the three variables of the net NOR, exemptions, and AGI, we're now looking at those, but we're also subcategorizing income brackets and age under them. So this is your number of returns, but we have them subcategorized into income here and age. So here are your incomes, and we can start at the youngest. You can see that as people get older, as you go farther to the right, there are definitely more people that are older that are coming into South Carolina. So the inflow has to do with the net inflow, rather, has a lot of older individuals coming into the state. You can also, although it's not as big of a correlation, you can also see that as they get older here, it starts to go up. So you can see that more or less there's a slight trend in people who are making more money coming into South Carolina. So the older you get and the more income you're going to be making is really telling you who's coming into South Carolina. After this number of returns, we can look at exemptions. This should really correspond to the number of returns. Just to prove it, we see as you get older here, as the income filer gets older, there are more net exemptions. This one's bigger. This one's bigger than the previous. The exception here is this one, but on average, there are the older income filer has more exemptions here. So if there are more older income filers coming into the state, that means that and the older income filer on average has more exemptions. There are a lot of exemptions coming in, so probably family members and children, a lot of those individuals are coming in the state, as well as very older individuals. You can also see here, yeah, so this one's quite large as well. And in addition, we can look at AGI as a visual for age and income bracket. We can see that a majority of the AGI is as they get older and as they make more money. You can see here 200,000 or more is the majority here, and it just trends upward. As you get older and as you make more income, there's a higher chance that you're coming into South Carolina here. So the majority of the people coming into South Carolina are making a lot of money and income, and are older individuals. So looking at all of that analysis leads the policymakers to a couple of conclusions. First of all, they should consider funding education for the large amount of exemptions that they have coming into the state. These exemptions are going to be children, and the children are going to need, or they're going to want rather, to retain the families. You're going to want better education systems or more well-funded education systems with better opportunities. Just makes the system they have more attractive for retaining their people in the state. Not only that, but they should consider healthcare systems for the older individuals. As we already established, a majority of these individuals are 55 to 65 is the majority here out of all of them, and it keeps getting larger as they get older. We know as you get older, you're more prone to health issues, definitely in this day and age. And so I think that should be your top priority. They should also consider allocating additional resources towards programs such as retirement, given a majority of the individuals are really old and they're not going to be working much longer, so they're going to be retiring really soon. If they have good retirement programs, it's definitely a way to retain the incoming migration, and to keep an inflow coming in the future as well. Other important challenges the state will have to face is just you can see the amount, the net amount of people is there's a much bigger inflow than there is outflow, which means there's a lot of people coming in. which means you're going to want a lot of new public infrastructure. You're going to want ways to fund water and utilities to make sure that the state is in a healthy state. Although this project did not look at county by county stats, but rather state by state, as we saw in the first visual, we were looking at just the total state migration and not the county to county migration. Looking at county by counties in the state of South Carolina may prove useful for adjusting to the micro adjustments of each county and which one needs maybe more education funding or which one needs more retirement or healthcare. So yeah, overall, I enjoy this project. It's very interesting and proved useful. Thank you.